Hello, welcome to week 15, Intro to Digital Design. This is our second to last course, our online live session, and it is the last in the course with really any kind of content. Next week we will meet and it will just be kind of a wrap-up session and a goodbye. And so this is the last week where I will be giving you guys any instruction, and I can't believe we made it. It's been a wild ride. We're already on week 2 of InDesign, and I'm going to be opening up the last week of course content probably later today, because I want to just go over the project that you guys have in next week content so that you can get it started anytime. It's just a wrapping up kind of project. But first, as always, I'm going to share some commercials that I found and some creative inspiration. While I do that, if you have any questions about InDesign, anything specifically that you would like me to demonstrate during this class, go ahead and put it in the chat so that I can do that when we get to that point of the live session today. I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see YouTube and Firefox, correct? And the first, I found these TurboTax of all things commercials, and just found them relatable and funny. So I thought I would show you 2 of them to get us started this week, even though it is not tax season. Again, like I said, I can relate to both of these commercials.
TurboTax Live matches you with a tax expert who is right for you.
So you're a perfect match for a freelancer who just bought a home that's also for office.
That's right.
What? I actually have no idea how to freelance.
I invested in crypto in my hometown of Gravity, Iowa.
Then I'd say you're down to earth and help me report your games and losses.
So what if I
Work in London, live in New York, shot a Super Bowl commercial in Los Angeles.
I'd say congrats. I could sort that out for you.
Thanks, guys. What if I,
What if I really am a freelancer who just bought a home?
Then you still hand your taxes off to me, get your maximum refund.
Wow, you really are my perfect match.
I like that one, and I like another one this one.
Being a person is complicated. We all have different, sometimes crazy things to deal with. But you figure it out. In fact, people are always doing impressive things. So how come all these people who do wildly challenging things every day feel like they can't do their taxes? We're talking about a bunch of breakfast winning, baby birthing, monster cropping, front seat changing, office discoing, check splitting, tattoo removing, zero gravity toothbrushing, late night chainsaw sculpting, dog walking people. We believe people can be good at anything. Yes, even taxes. Intuit TurboTax.
So I kind of feel like that's where we're at right now. Everybody's doing everything and we're all over the place. And I just thought those were really, I don't know why they came up in my feed now, as it is almost December, but I thought those were great commercials. And that takes me into my creative inspiration share, which I thought I would kind of on the tail end of the products and packages. I saw it on the shelf posts from last week, which I loved. You guys found so many good products, so many good packages and things that you should see my desk right now. As you know, I just got back from a trip and I picked up a lot of different stuff to show you, but I thought I would concentrate on products and packaging because as you had this taste of Adobe and the design software, packaging and product design is just another avenue that you might be interested in moving into. And the products that I'm planning on showing you today are all things that were created with Adobe software, InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator. The first thing, which is one of my favorite products, and I have brought this to class before when I've taught on campus, like a whole line of products, is R&Co. They are a hair product company that uses photography in their packaging labels as well as typesetting, and each one is like a different photo, and I think that they're amazing. This one's called Atlantis. It's a moisture obviously based kind of product, and they have this water shot. This one is called Bel Air. There's a chandelier. This one is Lost Treasure, and it's just got like all these vintage fabrics, a photo of all the vintage fabrics in there. The coolest thing that I got is this like a sample product pack, which is cassettes and turntables, photos of cassettes, photos of turntables with their branding placed over it. They do an awesome job. They have like 1 million products, and each one has a unique photo overset with their branding, which you can see the logo, and I know I'm getting a glare, and the typesetting is exactly the same. So that repetition of the branding and the typesetting and using the same font and the same size font every time ties together, you know, the look and feel, while the photo is super different every time. So it's really cool product line. One of my favorites, and so I wanted to share that with you. And then on a totally different kind of thing, I say, okay, so Montana spray paints is an artist medium. It's used in graffiti, obviously, and other types of art, and they have the just a gazillion colors. They have water-based paints, oil-based paints. Everything is in the spray paint format. I've been in shops where they've got like one of those 25-cent, you put your quarter in and you get like a capsule with, normally it would be a toy, but it's with different spray can nozzles for different like ways of distributing the paint. But I thought these were super cool. It's their pocket size line spray paint can. And I love the branding on it. I love the size of it. And I even got this like super tiny one just because packaging and cool design, and I'm kind of addicted to it. So now I have all of these cool spray paints. These are not full size. Obviously they make full size cans too. They do artist series cans. I have this one that I got years ago that came in this like wooden box, and it's an artist series can. An artist designed the can. It's just white paint. I leave it in the box and I keep it on my desk because I think it's kind of awesome. You see the logo on everything every time to tie together the brand, and there it is. And kind of a different like type solution for each of the different product lines. So you know, yet another avenue like of design, and someone, you know, is there on a computer in Adobe Creative Cloud creating these things. So I think it's super awesome. I could go on for days. I saved these and meant to show you last week from a car show that I went to over the summer. They're car air fresheners, and I met the woman that designed these, and she creates the illustrations in Illustrator, uses them to produce the product, which is, you know, a relatively two-dimensional hang it in your rear view window car freshener, but then also uses the graphics to create the packaging for each of her products. So you've got product design and packaging design. You know, it's all tied together into kind of a brand with the same look and feel, and just there's so much cool stuff out there. And I thank you guys for all of your stuff you brought to the table in the discussion boards this week. Really, really fantastic stuff. And I love it. I love all of it. A couple of announcements before I move into a little bit of instruction on InDesign. Next week is our last Zoom. It is the last week of school. Instruction ends. Let me open my calendar so I can double check my date on December 10th, which is a Saturday. I will take work submitted up until Saturday. And then I will spend the following week crunching grades, crunching numbers, and putting all your final grades into Canvas before Christmas. So right now I have graded pretty much everything that has been turned in. So your grade in Canvas is indicative of your grade in the class. And if you are not happy with it, please reach out to me. I sent out an announcement earlier this week that I would like to meet with anyone who has concerns about their grade in the class in the next week to give you time to amend that or to make changes. If you have submitted work and you're not happy with your grade, now is the time to reach out to me to find out if you can resubmit for a different grade. So that's where we're at. We're almost done. The InDesign portion of the class is a little less intensive than what we've done in Photoshop and Illustrator, so that you have time to catch up and to complete or resubmit some of the work from previous projects. So that's it as far as announcements. Last week is the last Zoom and our last week of class. So I can't believe that we're here already. I'm going to move into InDesign. I see there are no questions in the chat. Since I was gone last week, and I normally would have shown this What is InDesign video last week, I'm going to go ahead and show it this week, even though at this point we've already had a week of InDesign and you should all know what InDesign is for and what it does. But I still want to just show this video for the record before I demo a couple of things that I had questions emailed to me. So that they will be there for the recording, and then go over your very last project, which is the InDesign project for next week. It's an easy one. It's something that I'm hoping that you guys can use in the future. And so let me go to the What is InDesign video. I want to make sure that I show you the right one, because I saved a couple and there's one that I like more than the other. I think it's this one.
Adobe InDesign CC is the industry standard app for publishing projects ranging from all types of print projects to digital publications that you can view on any web browser. Create print projects like stationery, printed books, brochures, annual reports, posters, and more. And now InDesign allows us to publish interactive publications such as digital magazines, iPad apps, interactive PDFs, ebooks, and interactive online documents. InDesign's flexible workflow integrates with Adobe's suite of mobile applications, which allows us, for example, to start designing a layout on a mobile device using Adobe Comp CC and send it straight over to InDesign on our computer with just a couple taps. InDesign now provides us with a host of tools for creating rich layouts. Create multi-column pages with text and graphics, include vector graphics from apps like Illustrator CC and Capture CC, and place raster images from Photoshop CC and Adobe Stock. Adobe Stock is a vast library of millions of world-class royalty-free images, searchable directly from within Creative Cloud applications like InDesign. It's never been easier to find, license, and place images in your document, all the while keeping your assets organized and consolidated. In addition to Adobe Stock, we can also save our own artwork in Creative Cloud libraries, so we can easily reuse graphics, textiles, and colors in any InDesign document, as well as in other Adobe desktop and mobile apps. Next, use professional typesetting tools to implement strong typography consistently throughout your entire document. Create and apply styles to instantly change the appearance of your document, and wrap text around objects with just a click. Then, easily create tables to keep tabular data organized and beautiful. Also within InDesign, we have access to thousands of additional fonts from the Typekit library, all included as part of your Creative Cloud membership. When you're ready to hand off your document for commercial printing, it takes just a few moments to pre-flight documents quickly and accurately. We can package files with just a few clicks to easily gather all the document components required for handoff, or just export your file as a PDF for print. Then create interactive documents that include audio, video, slideshows, and HTML content. Create digital publications to view on a wide variety of tablet and mobile devices, save as EPUBs, fixed layout, or reflowable, and distribute across many ebook marketplaces. You can also convert any InDesign document into an online digital publication in just a couple of steps, which can be shared through a public link or embedded in your blog or website. Whether you're a print, web, or interactive designer, InDesign has the tools you need to design and publish high-quality documents across a full spectrum of both digital and print media.
Sorry, I couldn't get rid of the little commercial on that one, but now you have it for the record. InDesign brings together, you know, what we've learned in Photoshop and what we've learned in Illustrator, and gives you a place to create publications. That is its main use. That is its main purpose. If you're designing an advertisement, a poster like we did with our movie posters, anything that's single page, really you can do that in Illustrator, even in Photoshop. InDesign, where InDesign really comes through and where you need it is when you're creating multi-page publications, when you're working with just gobs and gobs of text that needs to be, styles need to be set up so that your heading can be the same font size, the same font style every single time you have a heading. So you can put page numbers on the bottom, you know, of each page and have them hit in the same place. I know I went over all of this in the recorded video from last week, but I wanted to make sure that was clear. And then what I'm going to do is share my screen so that I can show you a couple of brochures. These are from the same family of work that the ad that you guys are creating, we're recreating this week for your InDesign exercise. These were created for Humani Pilates, and as you can see, they kind of look like the advertisement. She's got a look and feel. This is a bifold brochure, which means that it just folds in half. And this one is a trifold brochure design, which means that it folds twice to make a trifold. The reason I wanted to just show you guys these again, I wanted to show you something that was familiar. The exercise that you have this week to recreate that advertisement is actually how I learned page layout a couple of decades ago. One of the mentors from my graphic design background, she worked for the Sacramento Bee, which was the newspaper here in Sacramento. It still is. And she gave me a single page layout that had text and photo and a logo, and told me to recreate it. And that was how I got started learning how to do page layout. These I wanted to pull up and show you because I think they're a really good example of what you can create using InDesign. And just how functional it is with placing photos and images and text. All you're doing is working with those text frames. With frames, you have frames to hold text, and you have frames to hold art. You have frames to hold just color, and you move them around on your page to create a beautiful layout, something that has hierarchy, something that gives the reader the information in the order that you want that information received. I had a question emailed to me today to clarify, asking for clarification for moving photos. And so I thought I would use these examples or these files to just show you again working with photos. And I know it can be tricky, but it's really, really simple if you just pay attention to what tool you're using. When you have the selection tool in use, that is the black arrow. It allows you to grab any and all frames that are on your page. In this case, you can see I've clicked on a text frame. I'm clicking on just an empty box. It's actually holding a screen of white, this peach colored box, or it can select a frame that holds an image. In this case, it holds a photo. You can see if I move it around a little bit, it moves the entire photo, the entire frame holding the photo. If you want to just select the photo which is placed within that frame, you have to use the white arrow, the direct selection tool. When you click, then you can see that what you have selected becomes this kind of golden orange color instead of the blue. And that is me selecting the photo, which is within the frame. And I am able to move it, but it is moving within the frame and rather than moving the whole frame. That can get tricky. And if you're clicking on stuff and wondering why you can't move your whole frame, that's probably why. If you want to move the whole frame, you got to switch back to your direct select tool so that you can grab the whole thing. If you want to adjust your crop or adjust the photo in any way, if you want to make it bigger or smaller or just sit at a different place within that frame, you want to use the direct selection tool, the white arrow. So alternately, if you want to select more than one photo or more than one frame, you can just click and hold down shift and then just shift click to pick up as many frames as you want, so that you can move them all together at the same time. Another way to do that besides shift clicking is if you just click and drag over the frames you want to select, it'll grab everything that your arrow touches as you drag it across your page. So InDesign, you're working with frames. Every piece of content that you place on your page is within a frame, whether it's an object frame or a text frame. That's how you organize. That's how you align. That's how you work. If I turn on my guides, you can see that I've got columns set up and margins, and I'm using guides to make sure stuff lines up the way I want it to. It's a really powerful tool, and you can do a lot with it. I find it to be, even if you are just doing a one-page poster or a one-page flyer, I find that it is easier to work with than Illustrator or Photoshop because of the frames, because you can place a photo, you can crop into a photo without having to, create a rectangle over it and then do a clipping mask. InDesign is doing that for you. It's creating the box and the masks so that you can play with your photo and get it to look any way you want. You're able to, still use tools like the align tools. You can see my control bar up here at the top it kind of changes depending on what I click on, but the align tool is there. The X and Y axis to move things around is there. The text and working with all of the different fonts is there. And it just has kind of a more advanced layout functionality than working with Illustrator or working with Photoshop. Illustrator, Photoshop, they are what they're for is in the name. Illustrator is for creating illustrations and Photoshop is for working with photos, while InDesign is a designer's tool. It is a tool that is used by designers, not by the average person trying to create a flyer, because it's so powerful and there's so much to it. So I love InDesign. I think I've told you guys before, I've worked on projects that are hundreds of pages, books that are just, I have to typeset them and create chapters and create, the folio at the bottom or the folio at the top that includes maybe a title or a chapter reference or a tiny little icon or a page number. And you want those to be on the same page every single time. It is a rookie mistake to create, a 12-page newsletter and individually place your page number at the bottom of every page and have them move around when the viewer flips from page to page because they're not in the same spot. InDesign makes it easy, and you can just create till your heart's content those multi-page projects. You guys had it easy. A business card, which I'm super excited about the business cards I've been seeing. And I actually wanted to show you before I talk more about InDesign and show you next week's project. So if anyone is interested in getting their business card printed, I wanted to show you this website, and I will put the link in the chat. This is, come over here. This is, let me find it. It's why is it, I just want to look at it. I want to Google it. So I have used Moo as opposed to, and I'm going to put this in the chat since the other one wasn't working, as opposed to using something like Overnight Prints or Vista Prints that offers really cheaply done digital printing. They do it quick, they do it fast, but they do it inconsistently. And I'm talking about Vistaprint and some of the other online digital printers. They will run 15 people's business cards all at the same time. That's how they're able to do it inexpensively. But if you have business cards printed more than once, they're going to look different every time. They have no consistency. They don't color match, or, everything is just digitally printed. It's printed with CMYK ink and in bulk and really fast. And one of the things about the day and age that we live in now is that business cards are not something you need 1,000 of. You're going to hand them out few and far between, but they are such a cool thing to have. Moo allows you to order as few as, I think, 25 business cards. You can have a different back to each card. So you can design a card that has your contact information on one side and a different photo. Let's say you're a photographer, on the back of each of, several different cards, and it's not that expensive. And I just super highly recommend it, because you're never going to need 1,000 cards. And so this is a really cool way to play with getting your designs printed. They also offer things like foils and like gold emboss and rounded corners and thicker paper and paper that has like a color around the edge. And it's just kind of a fun. I've recommended this many times to clients that are interested in doing business cards but only need a few of them, and also to a couple students that I've worked with that are wanting to get design work on their own and just want to have a card. And it's also something that's really cool just to put in your Behance portfolio. You get your business cards, you've designed business cards now, and you can get them printed relatively inexpensively and then take some cool photos and put them in your portfolio. So that's Moo. I wanted to share that with you guys. They do a lot of stuff besides business cards. I've also used them for postcards and for stickers. And it's a good resource if you want to get high quality anything printed, short, high quality, low numbers. So like I said, you can get as few as 25 cards, which is pretty cool. So let me check my list. The last thing that I am going to show you, and I will, when we end this class, I will go ahead and publish the last week of our classes content, so you guys will have access to that. The final InDesign project is actually more of, it's a project, but it's also something that I'm hoping you guys can use in the future, which is why I put this in into our course content. I used to just have it be an extra credit project, but I think it's a perfect way to bring together everything that we've done so far, and you will get the opportunity to work with a multi-page document instead of, we've done the 2-page business card or the 2-sided business card, and then you've done a 1-page ad. Your final InDesign project is working with, is creating a portfolio. And the idea is you can use work created in this class. You are welcome to use work created outside this class, and you're able to put them into a InDesign template that's already created for you and customize it for yourself. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of previous student work so that you can check that out. And then I'm just going to go over the InDesign file with you. Like I said, I'll make this project live when we hang up, but these are from previous students that were able to take the InDesign template and then put their information in it. You will be placing photos, you will be updating text or creating text so that you can fill in a heading, a subhead, a paragraph style. The page number and the semester is on your master page, so you'll get to work with a master page a little bit. And then my hope is you have something that you can then use either for further design school work, or even to submit if you are going to a 4-year university or even into a job. You've got something that's a digital portfolio, something that is useful to you for your future at the same time as you are getting a little bit more experience in InDesign and getting the experience of working with a multi-page publication. So the case studies that you did this semester might also be a cool thing. Once you're done, you can add pages. You can just kind of combine your files and you could add that to your portfolio in the future. You have the opportunity to make your own title page. Each of these has a different title page because that is part of the freedom for this project, is to create a title page. Each one you can see is different. And so that'll be something that you will get to do, but then you're going to have different content on the inside. So let me show you, now that I've showed you the student examples, I want to show you the template in InDesign is all set up for you. What I did was create several different pages, different layouts. So for instance, here you've got a square photo frame, the title and the description. This one is a square photo frame, no title, no description. Here's the opportunity to use kind of like a 3-photo layout. I just tried to include several different options. Obviously, you're welcome to use every single option, or you can just use the same option over and over again. If there's one that works for you particularly well, keep using feel free to use that one. You can see as I move from page to page that everything is aligned. The title does not, jump up and down because it's on the same X and Y axis. It's the same size. Paragraph styles have been set up. So your title has a paragraph style title. The description has a paragraph style description. Your artist statement or the description of the piece of work that you place on the page has a style here. So if you were to somehow stray from that and you end up using a different font or something different, you want to go back to it, that you just, let's say for instance, let me just do this so you can see what it looks like. You start writing your artist statement and it's only a sentence or two and you want to make it bigger, so you make it bigger, and then you don't like it, you want to go back to how it was, you just have to double click and the artist your paragraph style will be assigned to that text. So that's how InDesign really overtakes Illustrator and Photoshop in the working with text. It's just being able to assign title, paragraph styles, being able to change them. These frames are set up in these first 2 columns, but let's say you have a title that's longer. You will have to move and make your frame bigger so that you have room for, super long title across the top. So that is something else that you guys will be able to play with, is just kind of adjusting the size and the shape of those frames. I recommend, like I said, leaving them at their kind of X and Y top left and right position, so that when you click from page to page, you don't lose your grid. That's what all of these kind of guides are set up for, to keep you on a grid, to keep your information looking beautiful and organized. The last thing, in order to change your folio, which is in the top right, you're going to have to work with your master page. Make sure you're in your pages panel, and if you click on master page, you'll see now I can click on the folio, whereas on previous pages it is locked because it's not actually placed onto page 4, 5, 1 through 8. It's placed on the master page. So when you make edits to this to update anything, you would change it here on the master page. I have assigned a font to everything that everybody should have access to. If you don't have the font when you open the template, don't worry. You are welcome to change the font to something that you prefer, something that you like, and something that is available on your computer, on your machine. What you will need to do, however, is update your paragraph styles. So with the paragraph style panel open, let's say I don't have Avenir, it's giving me an error message, you know, saying that I don't have this font and I need to choose something that I have. All you have to do is go into your font panel, change the font to something that you like, and see how I've now got a little plus sign next to title in my paragraph style. What will happen is if I go to my hamburger menu drop down and redefine the style, it's going to update all my titles to match. So that's one of the cool things about InDesign, especially when you're working with multi-page projects. You can imagine if you're working on a 100-page book and all of a sudden, you know, the client decides instead of 12-point size font, you know, with 15-point letter or line spacing, excuse me, they want to switch it to 10-point, you know, with extra line spacing. And instead of having to go through your whole document and do that, you make the change, you see that you've got the little plus sign and you redefine it. It's going to redefine everything that's been assigned that paragraph style throughout your document. So if you don't have the fonts when you open the file, don't panic, just update them to something that you like. Play around with it, and then excuse me, make sure you update to redefine your paragraph style. I need to get a drink of water really quick. And I am unprepared. I will be right back. Okay, so that's the last project for InDesign. I'm super excited about it because I love giving you guys something useful for your future, a way to bring together all the projects that we've done so far. Ryan has a question in the chat about adding your sketches to your portfolio. Absolutely. I think even one of the examples that I showed you has kind of like the start to finish. I'm looking at it right now, kind of telling the story of how he came up with the designs, you know, starting with the sketches and then going all the way to your final project. And then maybe even, you know, down the line, including your case study as part of that. You'll find a lot of job applications in graphic design ask that you show a portfolio, but not only do you show your pieces, but you show your progress, your design process, and you talk a little bit about your work, which is why it's important to be able to do a case study and kind of talk about how you came to the decisions that you came to and how your final project got to be the way it is. So absolutely, you can add sketches, especially if you're working with one of the layouts that has multiple object frames and you want to use that. So I'm really excited for that. I'm sorry about the coughing fit. That's all I have for InDesign for you guys. If there's no other questions, I'm going to cut you loose. I'm going to publish next week's module, week 16, which is our last week. So we will gather here again last week just for goodbyes. There won't really be anything to record. I will just do last questions about any of the software, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Some of you are using the software now for other school projects or other work projects, and I'm happy to have you bring those to the Zoom next week if you want advice or help on those. Otherwise, you guys are just going to skate through the finish line, and I can't wait to see those portfolios next week. And that's all I got. Thank you very much. I could have probably just not recorded anymore, but c'est la vie. Thank you guys.